All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very, very excited for this stream. We've got some celebrity engines joining us this stream, and hopefully everyone is doing okay. Another week has passed. My goodness, where is the time flying? Looks like I'm talking about a lot of cars in the chat. Looks pretty darn cool. All right, let's say hello to the Icey family. We got BCF Parts, we've got Chuck, we got Railfan, Kay, we got the Birthday Buick. Welcome. I think this is your first time here. Greatly appreciate it. We've got Randall. You're going to Texas, Amarillo, Texas. So you're just northwest of, way up there in the north of Texas there. Again, drive safely. You can always catch us on a replay, my good friend. Just get there safely. Hopefully everyone is doing all right on this Friday evening. Again, thank you guys so much for taking your time out. BCR Parts, let me know how the volume is. If I need to adjust it at all, I'll try to make a habit of asking you. See if everything is good on your guys' end. But man, we've got some news to talk about. We've got some shout outs. We've got our celebrity engines that we're going to be showcasing today. With much excitement, with much anticipation, with a year of delays, they are finally on the Icey Railway. All right, we've got the AOK. Use a little bit of Steve Child's kind of stream methodology, which I love it. And we got the AOK. Volume is good. Awesome. All right, definitely follow Steve Childers also on the YouTubes. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just jump right into it. We've got a lot of Icey news to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into it. So quick field trip. We've got a couple things here. So we've got our next CSX Heritage Scheme unit. This is the RF&P locomotive, which is the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and the Potomac Railroad. Pretty cool livery. I love what they're doing here. I like the gray and the blacks here. But again, if you're a big fan of CSX, I feel sorry for you and your wallet because, yeah, they're just pumping out heritage units left and right. I'd love to see it. And for those collectors and model railroaders out there, I am really, really sorry. Again, Scale Trains is coming out with their heritage fleet. Yes, so Rush, I will be talking about that here momentarily. I will show you that. So just hang tight. We'll get to that. And welcome. I think this is your first time here. Welcome, welcome. Again, a lot of new faces today. Again, greatly appreciate it if you guys found us from the GS4 videos. We are running those two engines today, as you can see down below. We'll talk about those engines here in a second. But kind of a sneak peek teaser of what's to come. If you guys are new to this channel, again, I kind of talk about railroading news, model railroading news, and then we go into the meat of the stream, which is, Q&A of model railroading. We'll run a train around the layout, and then we just sit back, relax, and talk about model railroading, the world's greatest sandbox hobby, as I typically like to call it. Okay, so again, that is our heritage CSX that came out. Model train stuff. Man, I knew I forgot to get something. I was going to get my Uno card to show you guys that this thing reversed 180 on us. So I got to give credit to Jimmy from DIY. I saw the news kind of break over on his channel that he kind of shared this like, oh my gosh, I got to make a video on this. So model train stuff will return. Stay tuned for further details. I have no idea what this means. If someone else bought the model train stuff kind of branding, I have my suspicions. I'm just going to call it as it is. Considering that Scale Trains has been buying everything else in the hobby, it would not surprise me one bit. Again, this is 100% speculation, not truth whatsoever. This is just me. If I had to throw out something that probably happened here, it would not surprise me if Scale Trains acquired model train stuff. Why would they do it? I have no clue. Does it make sense from a business aspect? I have no idea. It's just another tool for Scale Trains, but I would imagine them buying it. I don't think they have a reason to, but again, they didn't have, when they bought a share of Virtual Trains, that threw me for a loop. So anything is possible. Anything is possible in this hobby. That's why I love about it so much. So if you guys were a big fan of model train stuff, I guess they're going to come back. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they get rebranded. I will definitely be watching this very closely. And again, I'll try to get the news out to you guys as soon as I learn more about it as well. So very interesting. Model train stuff is coming back. So something else here that I kind of want to highlight is I have subscribed to the yearly VIP for Broadway Limited Imports. This is mostly because I know the rabbit hole that I know the issues that this could potentially cause. But we'll see what happens. Like, I'm going to give them a chance. I am impressed with their GS4s, so we'll see what happens. So I have signed up for the VIP club. One big benefit of the VIP club is making suggestions through their VIP portal to recommend new models. So over on my community tab, I have issued a post that if you want to recommend something for BLI, let me know through that post on the community tab, and I will submit it through the VIP portal. So somewhat of a direct link if you guys want to go that way. If you don't want to spend the $30 a year, excuse me, I keep saying a month, it is a year, then I will input that information once the portal becomes available. And it currently isn't, so I can't submit anything just yet, but I want to get the list going. So as soon as it comes out, I can start submitting a whole bunch of things. I got my UP Cold Turbine that I want. I want the, what's it called? The Baldwin Babyface locomotives for Mopac, Missouri Pacific. But yeah. I'm looking through the outlet store because something else a lot of people were interested in is the outlet store because you get additional 10% off for the VIP club. And looking at some of these discounts, it's actually not bad. But again, it's kind of random what you're going to find in here. So it'll be interesting to see if it's going to be worthwhile. Something else I also want to clarify, I know on last stream I said that they're going to be coming out with exclusives on the VIP. They kind of further clarified it from my understanding from all the interviews that they've done. Specifically with the Around the Layout podcast just recently. They said that they're only going to do one exclusive a year for HO and N. It's going to be interesting because if you're not part of building that particular railroad, then you may be out of luck. Like if they come out with a UP exclusive for that year and you don't model UP, well, you're kind of, out of luck, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be my trial year with this VIP club, see if it's worth it. And I want to report to you guys to see if it's worth it or not. And, we'll learn together. So, but again, I still think this is a slippery slope that if this is highly successful for BLI, then you could potentially start seeing it for Atlas. You can see it for, Bachman, Atherin, and so forth, which means that subscription services are coming to model railroading, which I don't like to see, to be honest, but that's the world we live in. So we'll see what happens on that front. All right, so a whole bunch of channel news. So the other day I went to the NMRA Lone Star Region Division 6, and I met another awesome individual, good old John. I'll give you guys a link here. John Tanzillo, he does N-Scale. He's also in the Texas area as well. Give you guys a link to his YouTube channel along with his son. Got to meet his son as well, who also does custom metalwork, and I'll leave a link to both of these channels into the chat here. But he did a lot of custom signs during the NMRA meeting. We actually got to see these particular signs, and awesome work. I'm going to see if I can get them on the channel for an interview, probably one of the Boxcar Buccaneer streams. So once my schedule kind of loosens up a little bit, then we'll try to get them on for an interview and to showcase what they do. It looks amazing, so again, highly recommend these two YouTube channels. So definitely a great opportunity to talk with them. So another person I want to shout out is Scott Rails. He's been doing a lot of great work. I've been following a lot of his decoder installs, and probably the big knowledge that I get from him is remotoring, because that's something that I've been wanting to do, especially with some of my brass engines. And he has a lot of tips and tricks for remotoring engines, and I think it's fantastic. Learned a lot. Just another great YouTuber that you can watch. He's currently in the process of redemoing his layout and constructing it from new. I think that's a cool thing to do, to see from bare bones to creation, following that process. So again, another awesome YouTuber I would highly, highly recommend following. Okay, so to get to your question there, Sor Rush, you're talking about the GS4. So let's go ahead and highlight this here. So, two awesome individuals. We've got a BCF engineer pointing out that the smoke unit switches under the sand hatch on top of the engine. The cover is held by a magnet, and this was on my unboxing of the Southern Pacific. And then over on my Western Pacific video, Mac Racer 4 stated the smoke unit on-off switch is located beneath the hatch behind the smokestack. Having the switch forward turns the smoke unit off. So I didn't have that on my video because I didn't know where it's at. But I'll give you guys this channel as well. This is the official Fever River Railroad. Kind of demonstrates on his video where it's at. So again, I'll leave a link there to this video. But basically, you've got the smokestack right here, and you got this little sandbox hatch right there. Now you're gonna need like a flathead screwdriver or something, or a pry tool to pry that open. And so the official Fever River Railroad kind of showcases this. And you can see that there's a little hatch right there with the little magnet on it. And again, you really want to be cognizant of that little piece because you can lose that really, really easily. And then right in there, you can see that this is where the switch is at right there. So that's how you're going to find that the on-off smoke unit. So again, I put a link in the description. He owned the BNSF business scheme for the GS4, so go check out his video as well. So I do my best to sort everyone and give them the proper credit that they deserve. And so there you go. That's how you deal with that. So hopefully that answers your question, and you have fun with the GS4s. But I think it's time to get into it. That's pretty much all the news that I had for today. If more stuff pops up, then we'll jump into it. But let's talk about the star of the show. So finally, similar to the Paragon 2 version. Fair enough. Yeah, so these are Paragon 4s, and I'll be talking about them here in a second. Okay, so we got the Western Pacific. This is the Train World exclusive paint scheme for the smoke switch. Yep. So yeah, this is the fantasy scheme. The minute they announced this on Train World and same with Broadway Limited, I knew I needed to get this because of the California Zephyr. And you guys have shown that you have loved this engine and this train really. With I put the UP scale trains tenders on them along with the California Zephyr. They also are BLI, Broadway Limited imports. And yeah, you guys have made this into an instant celebrity train. It's been very successful on the channel. You guys have loved it. So I've got some more videos coming out. I've got camera trains for it. I've got a 360 video on it. So there's going to be plenty of content with this train contest because you guys have shown that you've loved it and a lot of support for it. And I greatly appreciate you guys bringing it into celebrity status. So it's my best engine yet. So also behind it, we have the 4444 Daylight as well. So let's go ahead and get these guys rolling around the track and we'll talk a little bit more about it. All right. So as you saw, we got the Western Pacific. These are, and the Southern Pacific. So these are Atherin Blue Box coaches. It's just what I had available right now. I'm in the process of upgrading my River Rossi Daylight. Oops. And I forgot to put, I knew I forgot to set something up. I forgot to set my camera system up. So give me a hot minute. We'll get this set up. I tend to unplug my camera system because they don't have like an on-off switch, unfortunately. So we'll get this set up. And you're already disconnected. Come on now. There we go. All right. There we go. Initializing. There we go. All right, so let me get this all set up here, and we will be on our way. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about these engines. Get that camera up. Okay. Oh, hello, Ron. How are you? Good, sir. You got the Freedom Train. So that is my next GS4 that I'm gonna get. So let's talk about the ones that I purchased. I guess we can start there, in relation to that. So I wanted the Western Pacific and I wanted the Daylight. The Daylight has a lot of sentimental value for me, simply because that was my first steam engine. If you guys go back to my videos that I did last November during Model Railroading Month, I talked about how I got into the hobby. The GS4 was my very first steam engine that I got. It was a Bachmann Spectrum gray box, and I ran that to the ground. Unfortunately, one of the gears broke, and it became a shelf queen. And so I've always wanted to replace it. Warwolf, how are you? Welcome, welcome. And I always wanted to replace my GS4. So this was during a time that I knew the MTH was out, and I knew that the Paragon 3 GS4s were out, but they were hard to find. They were really expensive, and the decoder for the Paragon 3 wasn't the greatest. And so I decided, you know what, I'll just buy another Bachmann GS4 because I just wanted to have a modern day GS4. And so, yeah, it was okay. It wouldn't run on this layout because of the couplers on my 25-inch radius turn on Harbor Point to your guys' left, my back right. And it was just one of those that I would run at the club layout. And then we got the announcement that these engines were going to come out in Paragon 4s. And it's like, I was a little bit worried because I wasn't sure the Paragon 4s were good enough or not for me to actually invest in. And so I got the SP Atlantic, which was the 442 steam engine, and that was my best steam. It was my best steamer last year that I ever bought. It won the award for the best steamer of 2023 for me, and I love the Paragon 4. No issues. It has the Keep Alive in it, and it's like, okay, the Paragon 4s are proven. They were proven on my layout. They were proven at my club layout. It's like, okay, I'm ready to invest into the GS4 Paragon 4. So I pre-ordered these two. And the reason why I pre-ordered these two, obviously we got to get the Daylight. The Daylight is the most iconic scheme for the GS4s. And then I saw that the Western Pacific was coming out, and I instantly knew I needed it for the California Zephyr train that I had. And so I went with those two. And the reason why I didn't get the Freedom train was because of, really, it was financial. To get a engine that will probably only appear once a year on my channel, because I would do the Freedom train, and I already have that in Bachmann, I told myself I'll eventually get that one later if I get the opportunity to. But to be honest, I get my money's worth from these two schemes because I'm going to run them so much often. A chrome model Concorde plane for Valentine's Day. That is awesome. I want to get that Lego Concorde for sure and have Fairy VR build it for me. So that's kind of the whole backstory. Now, let me give you guys my honest opinions on these GS4s. Yep, and the 4449, yep, it's a Survivor. So the reason why I didn't get the 4449 was because everyone else is going to get that one because it is the prototypical GS4 that survived. And I didn't want to conflict the 449's address. If I take my 449, for example, to a club, someone else is going to have it because that's the most popular Daylight. So I ended up getting the 4444 because it's not common. I don't think it's a Survivor. And so that I prefer non-surviving locomotives so that way I can bring those back to life. That's how I operate. Again, I'm not really prototypical. I'm definitely on the fantasy scheme type of side. So that's why I went with the 4444. And I think this is post-war or pre-war. I got to double check. But again, I'm not prototypical by any stretch of the imagination. I bring things to life that don't exist and probably would never have happened. That's how I view model railroading. Again, that's just my perspective. But yeah, they are great runners. As you can see, over here I have a 25-inch radius turn. The other 3 corners of this layout are 45. The 45s run perfectly smooth. When it comes to this corner, however, my Western Pacific, the third driving wheel, will derail or will go off the track, but the way everything is set up on the layout, it'll re-rail itself. Crazy, I know it. What's even more interesting is that my daylight does not come off. So there's a small little defect with the Western Pacific, but don't get me wrong, it runs. Like, it's smooth right now. And I ran that thing at SAMRA, my local club, and at the TTM, which is the Texas Transportation Museum, Amory. And it ran flawlessly. Really, only the issues I had with it was me being stupid and going too fast over switches. It reeled her well. So that's one thing you got to make sure is that when you're running one of these GS4s, you got to be cognizant of your speed because of the finicky wheel configuration. If you've had a GS4 before, you know they can be finicky beasts. No exception with these two. You really got to be, for lack of a better phrase, mature when you run these engines, because if you run them fast around a corner or if you run them fast through a switch, they will derail on you. It will definitely derail on you. 550 pages long, my goodness. My wife completed the Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the place. It'll come back to me. So she can handle the Concorde. Yeah, 44 wasn't Survivor. It was cut up. Yep, that's fine. I just like the number. I don't know. It appealed to me. So I was like, you know what? Let's go with that number. I'll grab it. And so 44 is officially part of the Icey Railway. But yeah, you gotta be an expert when driving these steam engines because they are unforgiving. I think that's the best way to describe it. This wheel arrangement is unforgiving. So you gotta drive them slow. You gotta be cognizant of your turns. I would recommend 33-inch radius or more when it comes to these engines. And it was scrapped in 1970. Dang. Oh well. Yeah. Appreciate it. Our local historian, Railfan K, is officially the historian of the channel. And I appreciate the info. So yeah, I ran these for several hours, no issues. There are some other quirks. So let me tell you guys some other quirks about the Paragon 4 in particular. So when I was programming these on JMRI, they are able to be edited. But when you go to, actually let me rephrase, they will read from the chip just fine. When you go to edit the information, I think the chip is a little too new for JMRI, and I think I need to upgrade JMRI version. I do need to double check that. But for my JMRI version that I have, when you go to edit any of the CV values, it automatically comes back with an error for every time it tries to write. So I made sure I wrote the information onto the chip. It still gives me the errors. And then I go to put on my layout, and it still writes correctly. So I was able to rename the numbers and so forth. But here's also another trick. If you go from your programming, at least from what I've seen, you go from your programming track to the layout, what you need to do is have some rest time. And what I mean by that is you take it to the programming track, you do your coding, and then set it aside for at least 10 seconds. And I think what's happening is we've got that capacitor that is, it's got all the energy in it, so you need that to dissipate. I think that's what's going on. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an expert on this, but it's allowed me to fix this issue that I had. If you go straight from the programming track straight to your track and try to run it, it doesn't recognize. The engine's completely off. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's a quirk with the decoder or the quirk with the capacitor that's inside of it. But one thing that has worked for me is you take it to the programming track, you program. It's going to give you the error saying that the decoder's not responding. Not necessarily true. It is. And then you take it off the programming track, leave it off any track for 10 seconds, and then you put it onto the layout. Now, one thing you've also got to recognize is that there is a warning label on the shell here that says, to avoid damage to your BLI locomotive, please turn off track power before placing locomotive on the track. That's going to be tough to do for club layout, so that's just something that you're going to have to take a risk. I don't know why they put that on there. It's probably one of those best practices for the capacitor that they have in there. So far, me putting it on and off the track is fine, with the exception of programming. Again, you want to program it, leave it off the track for 10 seconds, and then put it onto your power track on your main line. So that way, I think all the information can be stored. Again, that's me speculating, but it worked for me. So if you're having that problem with your GS4 after programming, that's one method that's worked for me. There you go. So they're making another one from scratch. Nice. Yeah, I know about the T1 Trust. You want to talk about another finicky locomotive. That's another one. That 444 configuration. So those are the things that I have learned with these GS4s. So they just got their quirks. But to be honest, I've got two GS4s that are going around 25-inch radius track. I am happy. I am happy like I'm a kid again. Because just seeing a GS4 daylight going around, it brings me back to my childhood, you know? Those are the moments. And in fact, I'm sharing it with you guys. It's such a great feeling. And I'm really happy with what BLI has done here. And let me also show you something else. I'll bring this up too. The packaging is amazing. I wasn't sure if I was sold on this stand. But until I got practice on putting the engine on and off this particular display stand, I am absolutely a fan of it. Like, this is a huge standard for me now. Because I can display this on my desk, and it is sturdy. You got these little pins here that they actually have holes within the chassis of the locomotive. Which, oh, by the way, both the tender and the boiler are die-cast. They are heavy. And I said that in my videos, like, man, is this die-cast? Yes, they are die-cast. They're great pullers. They've got 2 traction tires on it. It's a heavy beast. It's a 240. Okay. Gotcha. The packaging is pretty good. Again, you guys can look at my videos on the unboxing, but this is definitely a new age for HO steam locomotives. Like, Broadway Limited, in my opinion, has set the bar high. Especially with this display stand, like, it feels like I'm getting my money's worth. I love it. I absolutely love these steam engines. So, yeah, absolutely crazy to think about. All right, enough of my fat face here. I know you guys want to see. And about, I don't know, in a couple minutes, I'll probably put you guys on the train itself. Because what I want to do is get you guys on board these 2 steam engines. But it's quite something. And also, guys, thank you so much for coming out today. 17 people, that's a record for the stream. So, again, thank you guys so much for taking your time out on this Friday evening. And of all places that you can be, you're with this little Icey family with us. So, again, thank you guys so much for coming out today. Yep. Hang on. My first uncoupling of the coaches for today. You heard that the railroad travels from Arizona to Mexico shut down. Oh, no. That's interesting. Yeah. Yep. No, they had some quality assurance issues on the first batch of the GS4, so that's why it got delayed for so long. I know I griped a lot about it being delayed, but to be honest, I'm happy. The product came out fine. And here we are with 2 GS4s. Oh my goodness, Steve, how are you, good sir? Thank you for that. Again, it is voluntary. If you want to hit that thumbs up, I appreciate it. Again, this helps you guys. This helps new people who don't know anything about the hobby try to get into it again. My motto is a gateway to model railroading. If you guys don't like what I do here, there's plenty of other model railroading YouTubers like Steve Trouters, like Railfan K, like BCF Parts, and everyone else. There's so much out there. I am doing great. Like, I'm a little bit shaken because I'm back to my childhood. Like, the GS4 is my first steam engine I ever got from the Bachmann Spectrum. And here we are, running it and sharing it with you guys. Greatly appreciate it. So again, also follow Steve Trials on YouTube. Oh, Steve, since you're here, I want to show you something. I'm actually happy you're here because I went to my local, I call it Heb. I know it's HEB, but I'm going to call it Heb. Look what I found. They had a toy section. It's like, you know what? My wife and I, we go through a toy section because we're little kids. And this thing is almost 180 HO scale. It was pretty cool. So there's one. There's two. And finally 3. I saw these and it's like I was in heaven. Like we got HEB, HO scale trucks. Freaking amazing. Oh my goodness. It's been a very blessed week for model railroading, and I'm trying to share as much of it as I can with you guys. But yeah, it's been a day. Yep. I remember you talking about that on your live stream. I couldn't see the one this morning because if you guys don't know, Steve streams every Friday. Was it 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern, and he's going through the process of building his 2.0 retirement railroad, which I'm fascinated to see. Does a lot of tips and everything. But yeah, I got to rewatch the one this morning because my wife and I were out and about in Texas, in San Antonio. Yep. I gotta get the pecan. Yeah. So, yeah, because there was another shout out to Hobbytown. If you're in San Antonio, a new Hobbytown just opened up, locally owned, military owned, which is what I really respect. And I was talking to the owners. Yep, switching layout. Yep, until you get a new shed. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to share your shed building process because I'm kind of going down that rabbit hole a little bit. For the future, for the potential grand project, I'll leave it at that. So yeah, there was a hobby town that just opened up, and I was talking with the owners, and it's like one of the owners came up to me. It's like, okay, I was telling them all the things about the hobby, talking about Amherst and everything, and then he basically just gave me a piece of paper and pen. It's like, here, every product that you want, write it down. We'll see what we can do for you. So it's like I'm putting down Scenic Express with the super trees. I'm putting down Katie couplers for the whiskers. I'm putting down Pico and Walther's 83 in code 100 because those two are they're up there in top tier. And they appreciate everything. And oh man, just if you're in San Antonio area, go to Hobbytown. They're awesome, and they got a lot of scenic stuff. Oh come on. This is what happens when you have troublemakers. I've got troublemakers. I've got one coach that's a troublemaker. It's like, you know what? You're coming off the track. Yes, Steve. I also said the HO cork. I also said in end scale as well. Oh man, the San Antonio Hobby Town. Oh my goodness, they are really really good. They are really really good. Like I said, I am blessed with this city. I love it. I've got 4 HO clubs. I've got a local hobby store, got Hobby Town, and it's just I'm trying to share as much as I can. So, you guys know about Samara. I just joined the Texas Transportation Museum. They've got Amory, which is they've got an HO layout, and I'm slowly starting to share that. The shorts just came out. I'm gonna start filming the camera train stuff over there soon too. Elmendorf, I may start recording. That's tentative. Your shop has 3 boxes. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I told them about Micromart for all the tools because a lot of tools are cross-compatible with other hobbies. But they got like 140K stuff. They got paints. They got the Army Builder paints. It's just, oh man, it's a great store. It's a great store. I'm trying to think what else I can talk to about these GS4s. I mean, they're awesome. So me personally, I don't do the smoke because I'm a little bit allergic to that smoke. It gives me headaches every time I smell it. So I turn that off as soon as I can. And I don't trust myself to use smoke with BLI. With my luck, I'll use a smoke and then I'll use it and and miss some sort of instruction on how to not use it, and I'll probably end up melting my boiler. So yeah. Yeah, they were robbed on the first day of opening. I heard about that. Yep. Yep. Sad. It's a crazy world, unfortunately. So I'm trying to shout them out as best as I can. And I know we have a lot of fellow San Antonians in chat. So again, if you're in the area at Hobby Town, they got a lot of entry level stuff to the hobby. Like me personally, I'm gonna go there a lot for the woodland scenic selection. Yeah. Yep, they did. Unfortunately. Again, it's just what can you do? Look on the positives, right? Luckily, no one got hurt. Nothing too expensive in relative terms got taken. I mean, RC cars are still expensive, but at least no doors got broken, windows got shattered, anything like that. But yeah, we went over there today, and just awesome people. And they had a huge selection of styrene because I've always needed styrene to adjust my coupler box's height on some of my older rolling stock. So I grabbed myself a whole bunch of styrene. And eventually, too, I want to scratch build my own buildings because I have a personal goal of I need to start dabbling into all aspects of this hobby, especially if I want to go after MMR, which is something that I want to do. It's just I'm gonna wait till I'm like retired to start on that, but it's definitely something I'm looking into. But beyond that, all right, I'll get you guys some real framing shots here in a second. So let's go to the solo 180 here. Get you guys some real framing shots. So yeah, I firmly believe that BLI set the bar really high for steam engines. Just beautiful. Okay, so you can stop now. Boy. Yeah, that's my computer. I know. So the issue about it is time. It really is time. Um, I said I'm working full time. I'm dealing with full time education, trying to get my master's knocked out. I'm trying to build myself up for a little bit stable future. And this is just a hobby on the side. Yeah, it's just the time to build. Because all my free time gets really soaking up into recording, editing, and just trying to get stuff on the channel. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, I apologize for the short train. It's just I've got to fix one of my couplers on my coaches. So it's a little bit of a short train for the crazy amount of pull power we've got right now. Oh, yeah. I'll try to remember. So yeah. Paragon 4 did correct a lot of issues with the Paragon 3 streamers had. Yeah, I agree, Steve. Yeah, I'll try to do a better job of reading the comments. But that's another reason why I try to highlight the comments. But yeah, those who are just listening audio-wise, I do apologize. That's something I will try to... I'll work in. to read the questions and the comments. That's a fair point. It's going to be interesting to see what Scale Train does. Because Scale Train's bought the acquisition for MTH. They do have the GS4s. Now, granted, their tooling is definitely going to be an issue because they don't have the side driving rods. They actually had to customize their own tooling for that. So I'm curious to see how they're going to top this. Because, I've always been talking about this. We talk about market share. And there's no doubt with a lot of reviews coming out for this GS4 and what you guys see right now, BLI has a huge step forward in the steaming market share. So I'm going to be really curious to see if they're going to try to step up their game with their GS4s, or are they going to try to produce a more budget-friendly GS4? Because these are definitely not budget-friendly. Like, yeah, I think the Western Pacific was like $560, and I think the other one was like $530. So they're not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But you get quality. You get details. You get a freaking stand that comes with it. Like, I have never seen this before in model railroading, period, that you get a stand, a display stand, with an engine. Absolutely crazy. Oh, so you're a rodeo person. Scramble cows this year, scrambling at San Antonio Livestock Show and radio. I've been keeping a secret from my viewers. Fair enough. Hey, do what you love to do. That's pretty darn cool. More power to you. And again, thank you everyone who is lurking, who is listening in the background. We definitely hit a record tonight for live streaming. Got up to 17. So again, greatly appreciate all you guys' support. You guys have clearly shown that, these GS4s are popular. They are a well-loved steam engine. And they'll be part of this family for a very long time. So, yeah, once I get some couplers, some more metal wheels for my River Aussie daylight coaches, then you'll start seeing a lot more of the 4444. So that's why I haven't run that one too much, because it's really more of this layout right now. And it'll be scrambling to the Houston Livestock Show radio next. Nice. Nice, Warwolf. That's pretty cool. All right, let's get you guys on the solo shot here. So I do have them running on silent because they are loud. When you get these guys right out of the box, they are loud. But I don't know if the mic's going to pick it up because I do have a condenser mic. Or is it a dynamic mic? I can't remember. I don't know if you guys are going to hear it, but... yeah. I can tell it's kind of cutting out a little bit. But they definitely sound good. And you guys can go to my videos to get how the sound quality of them. Go ahead and turn them off because I don't want to. I gotta scream like loudly over those engines. They're just deafening. I think they got like 2 speakers in the tender. Absolutely crazy. Climax is at a decent price? No. Unfortunately not, because a lot of people... Let me think about it. You got the Shays, the Climaxes, and the Heislers. Climaxes are the ones that have the gear on the side. If I remember correctly, Shays have the side rod gears. And I think the Heislers have the ones that go in the center drive shaft of the gears. If I remember correctly, of the logging type locomotives. Climaxes, I think, is only Bachmann, and I'm trying to think who else made it, and Brass. I think you only find those in Brass and then Bachmann. No one has announced a Climax yet. So what I can do, Warwolf, if you want to see a Climax, on my community tab, what I can do... let me go to my channel real quick. Let me go to community. Let me go to... okay. So let's make a quick field trip. Okay, so I made a post here. Bachmann is the only one that's coming up, yeah. So what I did here is I'm part of the BLI VIP club. If you guys want me to request something through the VIP portal, make a comment in here. And I know Boxcar Husky recommended the Santa Fe 5011. So when that portal opens, go ahead and make a comment in here. And I'll try to get a long list of what you guys want to recommend. So that way I can submit that via the VIP portal. Again, that's on my community tab. So if you can't afford that $30 a year for many different reasons, you guys still have a source through me that I can then submit it to BLI. So that's a good suggestion for BLI. And matter of fact, if you're a fan of the logging locomotives, again, we'll do one more field trip here. Let me go to BLI. Let's go to Steam. I'm hoping they have this on the website. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, there you go. So the best that we can say right now, if you want a modern day logging engine it's a little bit pricey, but BLI is coming out with their 4-truck Shay, HO Paragon 4. And I've shown you guys how good Paragon 4. They do have their quirks, but they do have their 4-truck Shays that are coming out. And I'll drop a link in here for you guys as well. So yeah, they got a whole bunch of different ones. What I'm going to do is they have one that's undecorated that I've got right here. So I'm going with the undecorated because I have an idea. Originally, I was going to put this as a Union Pacific Shay. I'm actually going Mopac. This will be a Missouri Pacific Shay, is what I'm going to go with. So I got to get the lettering, the white lettering of Missouri Pacific lines for that. Awesome. Thank you, Warwolf. And again, the VIP portal is not available yet. They're still working on the quirks behind it. But I figure it's a good way for you guys to, you know, have a, I don't know, like a better phrase, a person to represent you guys so I can submit all that to BLI. So I do want to make that money worthwhile. So I'm gonna try that. And I want to try it for a year to see what it's all about, and then I can report to you guys and say, hey, it's worth it because of X, Y, and Z reasons. No, it's not worth it because of X, Y, Z reasons. So I'm trying it for a year. And again, you guys know my concerns on the slippery slope of this, that if this is really successful, that means you got to pay, you know, X amount for Bachman, X amount for Atlas, X amount for Athearn. If they all do this type of VIP subscription service, we'll see. Only time will tell. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's later this year. We'll see the 4-truck Shay. They've had, if you watch, you know, Heath's live streams about Amherst and all the other videos that came out Amherst, they had a sample of their 4-truck Shay, which looked gorgeous. So I can't wait to get this guy. Now this guy's going to be interesting because if you know about Shays, most of the awesome mechanical moving parts, is on the right side. So for this particular locomotive, this will probably be the first one that I run this layout that I'll be going the opposite direction of what I normally run. So it'll be quite interesting to see. Alright, let me close all these tabs here. That's cool. Okay, so in about 5 minutes, what I'm going to do is we'll get the camera car attached to this train. And then we'll go from there. Hi, Steve. Yep, I understand. It's, I run the late shift when it comes to the stream. So thank you so much for dropping by. I know you're a busy person as well. Oh, with a swamped, let's see. So the reason why you were asking for a Climax locomotive was a decent price. Was you were looking for one because I plan to make an HO layout of a swamp mixed with a logging camp to a port. That's amazing. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. So what I can say, if you're not, the Climax is hard because the Heislers you can still get through River Rossi. And let me double check their website. It will come from Europe is the only downside. But if you can find it potentially from a dealer over here. Let's see. Trains and train sets. Let me see if I can find it. Locomotives. And yes, I was correct. It's Heisler. Okay. So in modern day, again, another field trip. You can go to riverrossi.com. This is coming from the UK, but they do have Heislers that you can get. This guy right here. I always love River Rossi. I actually have a River Rossi DC Heisler that I need to get cleaned. They're I think my motor is going bad, so I gotta do a re-motor. Let's see here. And calling the layout Texas and Sabine Pass Railroad. Awesome. Love the sound of that. Wonder if the Broadway got the sound file from the GS4 from someone else or they recorded ahead of time. Sorush, go. Hang on. I think they did. Give me 1 second. Let me get you a link. So let me copy this real quick. So Warwolf, I'm gonna give you this link. That's to the Heisler. So at least you have a Heisler and a Shea. The Climax no one's making right now. So there's a huge market potential for that. So again, I'll when that VIP portal comes up, I'll make sure I submit the Climax, because I do want one too. I've got a couple of Shea roundhouse kits that I gotta make for those, and I do have an old DC 3 truck Heisler that I've got to remotor, but that's definitely not priority anytime soon. Okay, so let's go to. Let's go back to here, all the cameras. It's a line that does logging operations. It takes crawfish from crawfish farms to markets for people to eat. There you go. Simple lore. I love it. You know, in my dream layout, I would love to have a logging operations, but it'll be kind of tough. But I still love all three logging type of locomotives. What was I gonna do? Let's see. Oh, the GS4 for Sorush. Give me 1 second. Let me go. I'm gonna give you a link. Yeah, it's in large scale and discontinued. Yeah. I mean, they came out on HO too, but they're gonna cost you an arm and a leg because they don't make those anymore. Whereas the Shea, you're gonna be able to get that in Broadway Limited now, and like I said, the Heisler you can get in River Rossi, so you can get 2 out of 3. Well, I mean, technically there's a boxed logging diesel as well. Not diesel, freaking steam engine. I forgot what they called it. I'll get that here in a second. I'll do a show and tell of what I have. Let's see. So let me go to around the layout. So around the layout interviewed here. Here. If you're wondering about where they got the GS4 sound, I think they talked about it in this interview with BLI. So they talked about a lot in that podcast. So one of the scenes will be a shot of a steamboat and under a bridge with trains running on top, and the water will be resin. Nice. I can just picture that in my mind. That sounds amazing. Yeah, you gotta share that. Gotta share that. That's some good stuff. Okay, so we're talking about since we're on this topic of logging locomotives. I'll be right back. Okay, well, unfortunately, I can't find my Heisler. I think my Heisler's kind of parked away somewhere. Yeah, no problem, So Rush. Again, I want to share to you guys. If you want something, I'll try to share it. I'll try to find it and share it. So it's an old roundhouse kit. So this locomotive is called. Looks like a Battle Mountain Climax mine locomotive, and it's basically a Climax, but it's in a box. So this is a kit, and I gotta put a motor in it and everything. But this is basically what they look like. So. And then this is the roundhouse kit. This is a 2-truck shay that I'm trying to put together. I think I need to grab a few parts, but it's mostly together. So here's that shay. Still got to paint it. I think the motor runs. But it was brand new. So I gotta put the coder and everything in it, but it's just one of those shelf projects that I'll eventually get back to. But I had so much fun putting this together. This was long before I got back into YouTube. But I had so much fun putting this thing together. Yeah, it's definitely an old kit. And I got it for super cheap too. It was a little bit of a steal because the guy was saying, it's like, yeah, it's missing parts. And it's like, okay, I'll take it because I'm trying to collect a lot of these old roundhouse shays and so forth, just because I like logging locomotives. And then I put it together. It's like, oh my god, this is a full set, and I got it for this price. It was awesome. Oh, it's your call sign. So the reason why it's called Warwolf is because it's your fighter pilot call sign. So you've flown fighter jets. That's amazing. That's BA. That is awesome. Yeah. Unfortunately, like everyone's been. See, this is gonna be a rabbit hole. This is gonna be a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down too much into. It's just because the how can I say this? The expectations of what we buy are different. The expectations that of things that we want to buy from model railroading and in the hobby have changed a lot. And I can do a whole video essay on that topic. But I think Jimmy from DIY Digital kind of said it best on his video about the state of the hobby. It's not dying, it's just changing. It's different, that's all. Absolutely different. I want to find that Heiser. Give me a hot minute. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's bugging me a little bit. Took me a little bit because it was actually hidden. But we found it. Oh, I couldn't tell you a thing about that werewolf. No clue. That's a little bit beyond my expertise and knowledge. Okay, so I'll do a little bit more show and tell here. So this is an old 90s Verossi locomotive. So there is the Heisler. You basically have the geared part of the locomotive in the belly, and you have one big drive shaft that goes all the way through the locomotive. Now this one I got to remotor because it is having motor issues. So eventually one day I'll dig into this and run it for you guys. Well, I got to convert a DCC. So yeah, there's your Heisler. And then there's all, instead of having the gears on the side like a Shay, or the one drive shaft on the side like a Climax, these are actually dead center of the locomotive. And this is a 3-truck Climax. I ran this thing so hard too when I was young. So many good memories of this locomotive. One day. But yeah. And I'm just missing the Climax. So I do technically have a Bachmann Climax. Unfortunately, that's at my parents' place. Lost in the abyss of my parents' place. Okay, so I did promise that I'll get you guys on board these GS4s. So let me get these trains around. We'll bring up the camera. And I'll have you guys get on board the GS4s. So again, if you guys are new to the channel, my layout is run by Digitrax. I have a DCS52 into a PM74, which is my power distribution, to the layout. It's currently divided into 4 blocks because of that PM74. And I do have an LNWI modular that allows me to go Wi-Fi. So on this tab, I have engine driver that is basically my main throttle for this entire layout. And right now I'm not consisting these two because the Western Pacific is actually a little bit slower than the daylight, which is, I find that a little bit interesting. So I have to control them individually so I can actually control their speed steps so they can stay connected. All right. So let's go ahead and transfer you guys over to this view. Let's see. All right. you know, it helps if I don't have the first locomotive reversing and the back one going forwards. It helps us a little bit. All right, so welcome aboard to Daylight. You guys are in between two GS4 locomotives. Oh, I gotta change that light. Hang on. All right, I think we got it now. So, on the right, you got the Western Pacific GS4. On the left, we have the Daylight GS4. Now, I know you can't see the lights on the back GS4, but now I know the camera on the right it's going to jitter a little bit, and the reason for that is my front GS4 for the Western Pacific. Another quirk it has is it tends to jitter just a little bit, and we're talking like 1 millisecond it jitters. And it's not because of the locomotive, it's because I can already tell that I'm peaking my limit for power on this layout. Eventually I want to get a PS 2012 from Digitrax and some boosters. I want to get 2 boosters for this layout. One to control one half of the circle, one to control the other half. So I am approaching the limit of locomotives because I got a whole bunch on the layout right now. Now I should probably take them off, but eventually the future for this layout is I want to get a Digitrax 240. Or I think I got a 240 plus along with 220 boosters. And then the PS 2012 to get proper layout on or power on this layout the way it should be. And that's going to continue on my How Far Can We Take Digitrax series. But the reason why I haven't come out with any new videos is because the 240 is actually expensive, along with the boosters. So that series is kind of on hold until I can get things squared away with that. But yeah, welcome on board the 2 GS4s. We are a GS4 sandwich in between 2 of them for the double head. And you can see that clearly here on the 180 camera. I heard that speed matching locomotives is a tedious process. Never tried it as I model a short line that only runs 1 loco at a time, but I'm interested in hearing feedback about it. Trial and error. You can speed match 2 different ways. You can program the CB value to try a speed match. Or you can go the manual route, which is basically have 2 throttles and focus on the KD couplers if they have tension or slack. That's how I do it because I have a lot more control that way. So my preference is, and I'll show you on the... Right now I haven't speed matched because they've got the car in between the 2, so it actually works out perfectly. So you can see I've got the Western Pacific's on the left, the Southern Pacific's on the right, and so I've got them exactly at 52. So that's just how I do it. All right, let's get you guys back on board here. Let's go. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's actually take you to the single camera, so you can see the top view of the GS4 there. You kind of see the Freedom Train cars on the right on the shelf there. So it's even worse at Samra because they use Easy DCC, and Easy DCC is the pain of my backside. Because if you want to run 2 engines, you need 2 throttles with Easy DCC. So it's easy here, not easy there. The Texas Transportation Museum has Digitrax, and it's a heck of a lot easier because they got the LNWI, and I can use my phone to speed match. And it's easy. It's a breeze. So really, it depends on which system the layout is using. It's one of the many reasons why. Let me put it this way: for those who want to keep a layout simple and don't want to get too technical with with DCC, then yeah, Easy DCC is a solid choice to a degree. Now, I say that because Easy DCC is an aging system, and newer decoders will eventually cause problems for the command and control. But if you want to keep things simple and get kind of an entry level to DCC, Easy DCC is okay, but my recommendation, if you want to get into DCC, is go with Digitrax DCS52 Zephyr command station, because it's an easy switchover, and it almost costs the same amount. And you have a PR4 that's installed it, so you can get JMRI access. You have so much more expandability when it comes to Digitrax or even NCE for that matter, or MRC, because even MRC is looking at going into the Wi-Fi world as well. Yeah, Easy DCC is a. It was one of the original first systems to come out for DCC back in the 90s, and a lot of big clubs use it because it's in its name. It is a very simple, straightforward DCC system. But if you want to get into the more cooler things like dispatching digitally, controlling signals, block detection, Easy DCC doesn't allow that. It's just you have a command station with repeaters, with coaxial cable that is basically your local net equivalent. And that's pretty much it. Now, what was revolutionary about it is that it uses radio frequencies to have the very first, essentially, wireless controller for DCC. That's why it made it so appealing for all these clubs to actually go with Easy DCC, is because you can have a lot of throttles on a radio frequency that goes to a radio receiver, essentially, and you have your wireless system. But again, it is what it is. Hey, BNSF engineer, how are you, good sir? Glad you can make it. We are currently writing the back of the Western Pacific GS4. I'll go ahead and bring up our multiple cameras here. The top left has the daylight GS4, so the camera car is in between our 2 GS4s. And we're pulling a relatively short daylight coaches because 2 of them decided to give me problems, so they're off the track. They're grounded. And you got out early as well from Real Fan K. Nice. Oh, and you just ordered your American Freedom train. Ah, nice. Yeah, I'm content with my Bachmann one for now. Like I said, it's just for that type of engine to run it just for me, I'm just gonna run it once a year. I couldn't justify the price. I'll eventually get it, but it's not like high priority. I wanted my Western Pacific and daylight, so I'm quite content. But that's awesome that you get in the Freedom train too. And the modern 4449, nice. Yeah, these GS4s, man, they are good. They have their quirks. They have some programming quirks. Like I stated earlier, you got to go from your programming track to waiting about 10 seconds off of it before you put it back on the layout, because then it just won't recognize the system, which is weird, but it's a little quirk. And also, you mentioned something pretty interesting too. The rear trailing trucks of the GS4 is a little bit tighter. So if you're having issues derailing, unscrew that truck a little bit. And that was discovered by a BSF engineer. So that's one thing I forgot to mention. But mine, out of the box, doesn't have any issues, so I'm not going to mess with it. Oh, it locked up. Oh, man. So you used to have a Bachmann AFT, and locked up and stopped running. Yep. So I can tell you right now, my Bachmann Daylight engine that I have, that's going to be a shelf queen. That'll be a shelf queen. My Freedom Train I'll still use because, like I said, I'm only going to use it once a year. But the problem that I'm going to run into is its pulling capacity. So, yeah. The pulling capacity wants me to... I want to go to BLI because of the pull power it has. So that's going to be an interesting topic. I guess I'll put my fat face here. So yeah, it's I'm really satisfied with these engines. I love the pulling power. They're both die cast. Like, it is heavy. I love the stand that they come with. It is really a new benchmark in steam locomotive for HO scale. Like I said, I'm really curious to see what Scale Trains is gonna do. And even Bachmann, like, how does Bachmann respond to this? If any, they probably won't, because they probably have it cornered in the cheap market. You know, it is affordable. And again, that's another interesting. Oh, hang on. What did you hit? Okay, almost had a catastrophe. One of the external batteries came off the car and almost tipped. At the beginning, it looks like the view is the beginning of the Brady Bunch. Yeah. Yep. So if they retool it to NYC Hudson, interesting. Yeah, and it's like, if I was Bachmann or if I was Scale Trains, I would figure out a way to make it more functional but cost effective. That's how you undercut BLI. But to be honest, from what I see here, like, just go with the BLI. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. Just my opinion. All right, let's get you guys back up on here. Let's see. We haven't had the overhang. Let's go to this one. Get you guys a top-down shot. Oh, come on, capture card. Don't do that to me. I don't know why it's doing that. That's a new one for me. Are we really video tearing right now, capture card? Is that how this is gonna go down? Interesting. Okay. I'll troubleshoot that later. It's the first time that's ever happened. Those gremlins are out today. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let me check that camera real quick. Maybe it's the camera. slight disconnection on the double heading, but it actually works out a little bit. Because what I can do is this. Let me see if I can make this work. Yeah, so we can see the front of the Daylight GS4. And see, this is the weird thing about it. Same manufacturer, and this is where we can talk about some defects. Same locomotive, same chip, both going at 52 step speeds. And you can see that the GS4 Western Pacific is slightly faster than the GS4 Southern Pacific. Bizarre. It's very interesting. That you would think they'd be 100% consistent, but they're not. And I get that, you know, small little issues will arise. I just find it fascinating. And it's just, I think it's one speed step faster than the Daylight there. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Daylight does look pretty, though. All right, let's get to the 180 here. Yeah, I lost my train again. It kind of works out, though, because I can get some spacing and get some good chase shots. So it kind of works out. No, that's definitely not what I wanted to do. Okay, that one and that one. But yeah, the Western Pacific, I think, is one speed step faster than the Daylight. Okay, let's go to all the cameras. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And get some rail fanning shots here. That is Ghetto Bridge. Okay, and then they're gonna come around this town, so let's bring this up. It's become the great locomotive chase. I agree, BCF parts. Oh, and speaking of which, BCF, I got your package in. It'll probably come on the video either tomorrow or sometime during the week. And I do appreciate it. Alright, Phoenix Point is next. Oh, it's the knowledge from it. I saw the pictures and the knowledge behind it. It was actually really, really useful. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot out of it. No, don't be sorry. I appreciate it. Oh, hi. Our superintendent has arrived. Come on, Mary. Up here. Hi, kitten. All right. All the cameras. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. I kind of want to make this a little bit smaller, actually. And then let's do... There we go. Cool. But yeah, that's pretty much the conclusion of the GS4s. I've been kind of spamming a lot of GS4 content lately. Got some videos coming out, but we'll start switching off to other trains. But these ones are definitely going to be the spotlight for a little bit. I think my next engine coming up is going to be the Pico M1000, not the 1000. It's a German diesel that's coming out. Hopefully I'll get that soon. But yeah, definitely. These engines are awesome. As far as train shows are concerned, SAMRA's coming up in 2 weeks, so we'll have our first train show of the year. I'll record it all. It's definitely the smaller one of the year, the smallest train show for the year, but I'm excited for it. Been a little bit of a dry spell for me lately. I think Houston is happening this weekend, but I won't be able to make that one. Ferry VR and I have been talking about Amherst for next year. I think we're on board. I think we can make it work. Still no promises yet. Because I really want to meet you guys over there on the East Coast. So that is in the works. So yeah, we got SAMRA Train Show this month. Nothing in March. April is New Braunfels. And then we have another dry spell till like October for the second New Braunfels. Because Temple hasn't been announced yet. Let me take a look at that, actually. When's Temple? Temple Train Show. Temple Train Show 2025. No, 2024. Excuse me. Okay, it is September 14 and 15. No, that's not it. 2024. We do have an Austin train show, but I tend to skip that one. When's the Austin train show? Well, I'm actually curious. August 24 and 25th, so that's a little bit later in the year. Let's check. Temple train show 2023. Yeah, I don't think they've announced the Temple train show for this year just yet. So yeah, right now on the list is only 3 trains. We got the 2 New Braunfels and the SAMRA. So, let me double check Union Pacific. about the Four Corners tour. See if they got those dates out yet, but I don't think there's anything new yet. Let's see. Yeah, still nothing on the Four Corners tour. Because that is really going to dictate a few things for me. Because I need to know exactly when their dates are. When the home stretch, you made it to Springfield. Nice. From Randall. Make sure you drive safe. Make sure you take breaks. Don't be texting and driving. Alright, let's see here. Get you guys on the Solo 180. Yeah, these GS4s, they're just so pretty as well. I love the streamlined look. You got the light and the Mars light that's so iconic. I wish we can see more streamlined locomotives. There's so many in brass right now, and in the old school River Rossi. One that I would love to get is the streamlined steamer that Union Pacific had. That's probably going to be another steam engine that I'm going to request on the VIP. See if I can find it. Let's see. That's New York Central, PRR, Baltimore. Oh, yeah, here it is. This guy right here. Love that. Made by Baldwin. Let's say it was called the 49er. So, and I think we can only get that one in the old school River Rossi and brass. That's definitely one I want to recommend. Let's see. I gotta see a picture of it. So, BCA parts, the Fias, Hudson, and HO scale. Oh yeah, they do. That one I think BLI came out, but I think you'll be getting it. And I think Bachmann just announced this one, just recently. Oh, MTH, yeah, MTH as well. Yeah, so I actually have one of these. It was an impulse buy. I just can't remember where I have it. It's somewhere locked in my closet. I gotta convert it, but yeah, I think it's an old AHM or River Rossi. Let's see here. Let's do HO scale. Yeah, so MTH, yeah, Bachman's coming out with one. I don't want the image. I just give me the link, please. So it's currently on pre-order. Historian, yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, this particular locomotive had several body changes. Yeah, so definitely Bachman's coming out. It said DCC equipped, but I don't know exactly what decoder they were using for it. It could be TCS WoW, which that would be pretty cool. Broadway Limited makes... Oh, no, they do... Oh, wait a minute. We got to find a dealer. That's right, they came out in Paragon 4 brass. Or the hybrid brass. So, yeah, but that's gonna cost you. That was $750. Woo. So, yeah, you got BLI. A little bit on the pricier side, though. Like, I would wait for a second run on those. Yeah, MTH, Bachman, Broadway Limited. I think that's it. Because the one that I really want from NYC... If this thing will load... Yeah, it's not loading for me. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Yep, can't spell. Yeah, it happens to me too. Alright, let's get you guys back on... I keep pressing the wrong button on this thing. Okay. Let's go to this view. Get you guys a little bit of view of that daylight there. There's a Challenger that we're passing. We're passing the FEF 844. And then the big boy there. And then we'll get you guys to the 2 view here. So yeah, still nothing on the big boy tour. No exact dates. But they did put back on... Interesting. Idaho and Oregon are back on the menu? That's interesting. So I thought they removed them. He's probably lurking in BCA parts. Maybe he's not around. Yeah, he's probably lurking. Oh my goodness. Oof. Yeah, oof. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through Facebook. Someone got their GS4 and it was soaked in fluid. Looks like smoke fluid when I got it. Wow, that's unfortunate. Again, that's when it comes to BLIs. I don't trust myself with using the smoke fluid. Nope, nope. For the amount of money we pay, I just don't deal with smoke fluid. I know I will melt my boiler if I do that. Absolutely will. So, I find the switch, I turn it off. That's just a personal preference. All right. So kind of some channel updatey things. Again, thank you guys so much for following all the content. You guys have just been killing it again. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. As far as channel partnership, the hours are just amazing. We've had some great months. So again, thank you guys so much. We finally passed the because we were about 600 hours away from partnership. We're about 400 away now. And the one big feedback that you guys basically gave me just by looking at all the statistics and everything, you guys really enjoyed the decoder installs because I've got 3. I've got the one that kind of show how I did the BL2 Mopac, how I installed the or kind of under the shell series. Apparently that under the shell series is something that you guys really enjoy apparently. So I'm definitely going to make more of those. Again, thank you, BCR Parts, for kind of pushing me into doing that. Again, your feedback is greatly appreciated. So, again, I try to take all that into consideration. So we did the install of the Milwaukee Road, and then we did the Blunami install of the FEF 844 Union Pacific. And, yeah, you guys ate that and enjoyed it. So, definitely more decoder installs in the future. I've ordered some more decoders. I've got one engine I want to convert next. And I've also got a capacitor for the Blunami chip on the FEF that I'll do a video on to upgrade that. Because I do need to keep alive in that FEF to get that Blunami perfect. So I'll have a video on that when I get the parts in. So kind of another shout out to Larry, the DCC guy. If you guys haven't seen his YouTube channel, highly recommend it. Let me bring up his channel. Let me see if I can bring up one of his videos. Okay, perfect. So this guy has been doing videos for he's been in the hobby for a very, very long time. I was watching one video, and I apologize, I can't remember what the video was or who made it, but it was about brass, how to clean a brass engine that has the styrofoam damage. And he mentioned that Larry, the DCC guy, made his own capacitor. And I was like, oh, let me look into this. And I'm glad I found this rabbit hole because it's gonna be cost effective, I think, to do it. So here's the video. Larry DCC guy has several videos about how to create your own keep alives. He has like a 3-video series on it. And I'm gonna go that route in the future, especially with some of my older locomotives. So that's the route that I'm eventually gonna take. NEC Amtrak, how are you? How have you been? Welcome, welcome. Been a while. Hopefully you're doing well. And thanks to Scott Rails, there was I know a lot of people don't use AliExpress. I'm just now diving into AliExpress. There's a DCC company that's on there that I'm going to experiment with on much more I don't want to say toyish locomotives, but just as an experiment. Like some of the Bachmans, I'll use them for my Bachman diesels that I have. To just experiment with AliExpress and some of the stuff they have on there. All right, good it has. Awesome. That's great to hear. So if you're just joining us, we're just kind of just chatting about model railroading like we always do, but we also have some celebrity steam engines rolling around. We got our Western Pacific GS4 from BLI, along with our Daylight GS4 from BLI as well. Kind of just going around the layout. Talked about some of the quirks about these steam locomotives. I highly recommend them. Nice and heavy, pull power is good. Have some quirks with programming that I mentioned earlier in this live stream. And you guys are just killing it. You guys are just killing it. I appreciate all the support from the views, from the comments, to the likes. It all helps. Definitely not mandatory. And yeah, we're 400 watch hours away from monetization on the channel. That's awesome. Absolutely crazy. Oh, I appreciate that. Yep, layout is looking good. I appreciate that. I haven't done much with it. Like I said, I'm in the realm of DCC conversions right now. It's kind of where the content is, and obviously just rail fanning. Rail fanning will be the staple of the channel. Just watching trains go by. The layout I haven't made any progress on the layout yet. I've got another series that I'm working on right now. I appreciate that. Yep, congrats. And to everyone who watches. Yep, again, it's you guys. It's all about you guys. I'm just here watching trains go around in circles. So I'm working on a series right now. Kind of stalled a little bit because I had some foundation issues with the house, but now that's settled. Everything is good to go. I'm gonna kick that series off again because I'm doing it in my garage a little bit. I need the garage to spray paint. But definitely excited. Yeah, we've got a few new pieces. We got some buildings over the Christmas holidays from Walmart. So we got some Christmas buildings. We've got some buildings over there from SeaWorld, because SeaWorld has these beautiful like wooden structures that you can paint. They're basically ornaments too, but they're HO scale, because if you put an HO scale figurine next to it, it's almost to scale. My day was awesome. We kind of just toured San Antonio a little bit. We went to a new hobby town. Epic. That's all I got to say. Great owners. Very friendly service. The owner over there was awesome. Got to chat with him and the other business partner. They were awesome. I don't know if they're married, so I didn't want to say his wife. But the two owners over there of the hobby town, San Antonio, they're awesome. The guy basically came out to me and was like, I was talking about, trains and everything, talking about the clubs, and basically gave me a notepad and paper, and they said, okay, whatever you want to suggest, write it down. So I was writing down super trees from Scenic Express, the cork bed, the metal wheels, the Katy couplers that everyone likes. So I was trying to set them up for success as best as I possibly could. Because those are the things that I'm in need for, like consistently. So I got a lot of woodland scenic stuff from the hobby town. And they carried a lot. It was good. It was a lot of cool things. And obviously, they got other things like Warhammer 40K, RC cars, a lot of Legos, a lot of cool things, a lot of STEM products, science, technology, education, all that. Came home, ran for a mile because I gotta be in shape, but the face is getting kind of fat. I'm getting the dad bod a little bit, so I'm kind of gotta work out a little bit. Took like a micro nap and got the stream set up. Oh, I programmed the Daylight GS4, so now it's got the 4444 ID. Turned down the volume by half because it is crazy loud out of the box. And we just vibing. We just vibing. So yeah, dabbling into scenery for this next video series. This series is gonna be the videos to get those out are gonna take a little bit longer because there's a lot of steps to them, but I'm excited. Yeah, I need to get back in shape. Yeah. So yeah, getting back on the treadmill, getting back to running. My hibernation period is over, so it's like okay, let's get back in shape. Yes. NEC Amtrak. So the N scale layout, I gotta make a video on it. I've got my 6 T-track modulars connected. Remind me next stream, I'll have that running. But yes, I've got the T-track modulars all set up. I was running it one time on the stream, and it's been neglected because I've been wanting to get more T-track modulars, but finance has gotten in the way, and the HO stuff got in the way. So I apologize, I haven't dove too much into the N scale. But yes, the layout is operational. And Fairy VR, who's working on it, kind of got burnt out a little bit on mono railroading a little bit. So again, it's kind of on hold. It's mostly her project, but that layout is ready for her to put scenery on it, and you guys will love the scenery. But right now we have like a Lego Japanese house. But I gotta make a video on. Yeah, I gotta put that as higher priority because yeah, the layout's done. Or at least the starter layout's done. And that was a lot of fun. Yeah, you N scalers out there, T-track is awesome. I love T-track. I love what T-track can do for you guys. But yeah, definitely a good time. I think the hobby it's a good time to be in the hobby. I really do believe that. N scale, you got T-track, you got Kato, HO. Just seeing what these manufacturers are coming out with. Seeing these two BLI GS4s just going around the track. Like I'm a 2-year-old all over again. It's like I never thought I'd see the day that I would have perfectly running GS4s on the layout. So, okay, so for those who don't post YouTube videos, does it take 2 to 3 times longer to edit a video than it takes to film the video in the first place? So, my rule of thumb is, from my experience, let me think about this. Let's say you film like 10 minutes. It could easily double, triple the amount of time to edit. But it really depends on your editing style. I can edit pretty fast for what I do, but if we're doing a train shows take a while. Because I record like 7 to 8. Oh, let me put it this way. Um, for bigger train shows, it took me a couple days to edit. For one train show, to edit it down and to make the final cut, it takes me about a full day to edit down. But yeah, it does take 2 to 3 times longer to edit down. Usually for like 1 hour of content from like a train show that's edited down, it takes me about 6 to 7 hours to edit. Yeah, it usually takes me a full day. those train show videos are tough. They're tough to get out, but it's well worth it. And the reason why I edit my train show videos is because I don't want to capture transactions. So if I see in the video that someone's like presenting their credit card and so forth, I edit all that out. That's why it takes me the full 6 to 7 hours. It's not just to shorten the video. I'm scanning to make sure that I'm not showing transactions, or if someone's like in a ridiculous pose that it kind of embarrasses the person. I edit that out because I've had that happen before. There's been some circumstances that I don't think that this definitely cannot be in the video. So it's just one of those things. That's why I give a lot of credit to Heath, because he's live streaming train shows. Well, you gotta be careful, because if you're live streaming from a train show and you have this old guy who's bending over to get a train, you may get more than just a person. Just saying. So that's one of the many reasons why you won't see me live stream from a train show, is because I'm concerned for something like that. You just don't know what's going to happen. Whereas in a video context, I can record the whole entire walkthrough, and then I can go back and at least I have all that footage, and then I can start censoring things out that I definitely don't want in it. And that's why when you see one of my train show videos, it tends to do jump cuts. It's either because I caught something, like a credit card being purchased, or I'm purchasing something. But it allows me to capture the full POV experience. That's what I like to capture as best as I can. But yeah, it long-winded answer, but that's from my experience, and I'm by no means an expert on editing. I'm just telling you what my experiences are. I use Filmora because I was grandfathered into the full license back in the day, because you were able to buy Filmora for the entire software for one price before they went to a subscription model. Now you can't get you're stuck with the subscription model, unfortunately. But it just depends. Everyone has their own editing style, own editing software, their own production schedule style. The big thing is just do it. Like, you won't know until you do it, until you practice, just like anything else in life. It took me a while to get to this point, to live stream the stuff that I have here on the layout to what you see in my videos. It took me a good decade to figure out. I started back in 2013, roughly. I was in the gaming side of the house, so I wasn't doing anything Model Railroad related. So I started on Twitch TV right after it renamed from Justin.tv. Stayed on Twitch for a little bit, gaming, did a little bit of videos on YouTube. I was actually on this channel. And then stopped the YouTube after Copa happened. And it's like, you know what? I'll just stick with Twitch and try to do model railroading content on Twitch. The problem with Twitch is that they didn't save videos. You would have to save the videos externally and bring it to YouTube. and that was kind of a giant headache to deal with. So, yeah, stayed on Twitch a little bit for a couple years, and then the big thing that turned me off from Twitch to going back to YouTube was I was trying to figure out the rail fanning concept because I just wanted to record trains going by. And really what got me switched back to YouTube was that Copa was finally dying down. They finally figured out how to deal with that whole mess. The copyright system was getting a little bit better because that was the other big headache, was the copyright system was just a mess. And then once they introduced shorts, that's when I came back to YouTube almost full time. And the problem about Twitch was that you had the stupid bathtub streams that was going up. And it's like, you can't compete against that crap. It was stupid. I hated it so much. And I said, you know what? I'm done with Twitch. And came back to YouTube. And I'm glad I did. And I never looked back. Never looked back. Railfan K, speaking of N scale, I actually got my Kato N scale starter set. That's right. We talked about you were going to get into N scale too. I forgot about that. I started off with the Zephyr set. I think it was the CB&Q California set for N scale. And then Fairy VR got me. She got into a whole bunch of other sets. We're focusing a lot on international trains for the N scale layout, but she also liked the Hiawatha, the Monday Hiawatha. So we have that for N scale as well. Okay, so I think next stream is going to be, next Friday. Same time, same place. Not exactly sure what I'm going to run yet. If it'll be the GS4s again, or will we do something. What I'll probably do is also derail. All right. What is derailing? Oh, my GS4 is off. Well, we got first derailment. Be right back. To be honest, for almost 2.5 hours with no derailments from a GS4, I'm good with that. That is a good day. Yeah, the gremlins forced the front truck off the track. I think it derailed on my switch. But again, just random gremlins tends to happen. Make sure it's not off the track here. it's good. All right, let's do this. Get the 4 cameras set up here. All right, all the cameras. All right, I gotta put a light back on. So I bought these wireless lights for the layout, and I was charging this one. All right. Well, I think what we'll do, guys, is we'll go ahead and do one more lap on these 2 GS4s, and I think we'll call it a stream. Put in a good 2.5 hours for these 2 steamers. And get ready for another chaotic week of railroading news. So, yeah, a few things coming up for me. I need to work on the next end scale video since that layout's up and going. Get some more content on that. Hopefully we'll get the FEF video for the Keep Alive installation. We'll hopefully get that out sometime this week. Mail call from BCF Parts. That video will come out soon. And a whole bunch of camera train videos as well, celebrating these 2 wonderful steam engines. So it is a good time to be in a hobby, I think. I think it's a fantastic time. And definitely we're in a new age of steam locomotives. BLI has set the new standard. They set it pretty high too, in my opinion. So we'll see. We shall see. Let me get the sound back on. So loud. All right. Bring in the daylight here. How about that shot? That is beautiful. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream today. Again, thank you guys so much for coming out, spending your time on a Friday evening here on the Icey Railway. Let me turn these GS4s off real quick. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of the GS4. They look fantastic. They run great. But again, they are a experienced level type of engines. You can't run them fast. They have their quirks, but I love them. They're great. That's the great thing about this hobby. So, with that, guys, thank you so much and have a great